If I was commissioner for a day, this is what I'd do. I'd reduce the ball 10%. I'd make it go shorter by 10%. All right, number two, I'd reduce the size of the driver head, and I'd reduce it to about 240, which is about that big.
Almost 50%.
Yeah. Number three, which has already been done, the square grooves, the USGA and the RNA have come together and they've decided that when you hit the ball in the rough, you should be penalized. Number four.
I'm surprised you're not getting booed on
Gone.
that one.
So anyway, that's what I'd do if I was commissioner for a day. When I went into the British Open this year, I felt like I was driving the ball well. I felt that I could play Turnberry first of all, but I felt I was driving the ball well, and if I could get the putter to work some way, I could make a run at it. And on Tuesday, I made a change in my putting stroke that seemed like it worked pretty well. It doesn't work worth a damn anymore, but it worked for a few days, you know. On Wednesday, after my third practice round, I was really, I was in the most serene state that I'd ever been before a tournament. I mean, I just felt very, very calm and confident that things were going to go right. When the ball was in the air, it was deja vu. Yeah. That ball was in the air. I couldn't see it as well this year as I did in '77. Can I get up there? Oh, there it is. Hey, it's going right at the flag. I couldn't imagine the type of response that I would get from doing what I did. It was overwhelming, and the response went something like this. It went, Tom, we're really proud of what you did, but to be honest with you, it gave me hope for what I am, what I can do. And I had a lot of people say, you know what, I've rededicated myself to doing something at my age that I'd given up on. I felt like I made the right decisions, and that's all you can do. You go on, you carry on. Like Bruce said, you carry on. Let's go on to the next tournament.
All the money that we raise here, we've raised $2.5 million roughly going into this year, has gone to the Robert Packard Center for ALS Research at Johns Hopkins University. And the reason it goes there is because Tom, who probably knows more about ALS than any non-doctor alive, believes that Jeff Rothstein, who runs the Packard Center, is the guy who's going to finally figure this thing out. He couldn't be here tonight, but he did send a pretty good replacement. Piera Passanelli is the Packard Center's first scientific director and was recruited by Jeff about a year ago.
I also want to say a big thanks also on behalf of Jeff Rothstein, who regrettably cannot be here tonight, to all the support that the Bruce Edwards Foundation is giving to the Packard Center and the research efforts that we do at the Packard Center over the last 4 years. In the past year, 2 new genes have been discovered that cause familial ALS, the genetic form of ALS. Now with these 2 genes, I really feel that it's very exciting because now we can really expand our research to a more broader portion of ALS. So it gives us really the opportunity to understand whether this is one big disease or whether these are similar but slightly different diseases. I always say that I think really doing research is like doing a treasure hunt. You can really have the treasure close by, but if you don't have the right clues and you don't have a good team, I think you might never find it. So we're very good at doing that in building new tools and finding new clues, having a good team of investigators together.
Our speaker tonight is someone who I've known so long that we were both young when we first met. So please welcome a good friend and a Hall of Fame guy and coach, Gary Williams.
The reason I'm here tonight is that Mike Krzyzewski and Roy Williams wouldn't return John's call. But I'm glad to be here, believe me. I remember when I was probably 9 or 10 years old, every summer there was always a big scare. There was this disease called polio. Probably when I was 11 or 12 years old, Dr. Jonas Salk came up, with a cure. Somehow, some way, he managed to come up with a vaccine that just completely wiped out polio. Ever since then, I've always believed that there is a way, for things like that to happen. And I think the doctors that John's mentioned, they really believe that. Obviously, the reason we're here is to make sure something like that does happen with ALS. ALS is one of those diseases that doesn't get all the attention all the time, like a cancer or whatever, and obviously everything's very serious. So anything we can do, as a group to try to get more attention and to keep it out there is very important. Without a lot of you people here tonight, they couldn't do what they do. Hopefully, it stays important and it stays with people, and it's one of those things that I know that there is a cure for it when it's all said and done. It's just finding that cure, and it takes money. The only way you get it done is with money. So hopefully tonight really helps.
One other thank you I would be remiss if I did not make before we introduce this video, before I bring Tom up, is to all of you guys, all of you sponsors who've been involved in the event, many of you from year one. Really want to thank all of you for being here, for your support, for everything that you've done. It's just been tremendous. So thank you all very much. The only thing I want to say about Tom, because there's not much you can add to Tom Watson's life resume, but he said something this morning that I thought was significant when he was talking about the response people had to what he did at the British Open and how people contacted him and said, "You gave me hope that I could go back to doing something or try to do a little harder to do something." What Tom Watson has done in the area of ALS since 2003 is to try to give people hope. And he dealt with Bruce's illness and gave Bruce hope for as long as he possibly could, right until the very end. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Watson.
John, what you said here that all we have is hope, but you know what? I'm going to take that one step further because I have faith. Hope is a little bit different than faith. Because faith means it's going to happen. We are going to get there. We're going to get there with our efforts to make this thing go away. With the great group of people here from Johns Hopkins and all around the world working on this thing, that faith is going to be answered. It definitely is going to be answered. I want to thank everybody here. They've been here, many people every year for the past 5 years for being here and supporting this. Raised a heck of a lot of money for it, and it's going to continue to help the cause of finding the cure for ALS. The main thing here is that we're doing good, and I thank you all very much from the bottom of my heart.
We did some calculation based on how we thought the auction would do. We actually ended up doing a little bit better than we thought it would do. Looks like we'll turn over about $350,000 to the Packard Center.